In this video, I will be reviewing the Paulina Tarot by Paulina Cassidy. And I love, like all tarot decks, it comes with 78 tarot cards and a little white book. So let me just begin by showing you how this little white book is structured. So just before I get to the cards. So as you can see, it's for each card, there is a little explanation and blurb about that card. Usually talks about the symbolic significance of some object or element that's present in the card. And then it'll give you keywords for its upright meanings and reversed meanings. So it's pretty much the same throughout the book. So it does include upright and reversals, so if that's something you're looking for, then you should be good to go. Alright, so I'll leave it here, and I'll just talk about artwork a little bit. So personally, I can't really connect to the artwork that much. I think it's gorgeous, but just it's not, it doesn't really connect to me on an intuitive level, mostly because there's so many things going on in one card, and it's just really, it's a little bit too busy for me. But just to make this review objective, so as you can see, one thing about the artwork is it's very, very detailed. It's so intricate, and you can really zoom in on a microscopic level, and you can, each time, I believe, you will discover something new. And because of this, I believe it can really add to your interpretations. It can bring out your interpretations in a really dynamic way, just because there's so many things to look at, and each time you look at cards, you might be drawn to different things at a time. Say, for example, the Lover's card, you might be drawn to the way they're embracing each other, or you might be drawn to the vessel they're on, or you might be drawn to that letter, I believe it's a swan or some kind of bird creature that the bird creature is kind of holding on to, or the rabbit. So just saying, there's so many things to look at, there's so many things to take into consideration, and this can really provide really rich resources in terms of imagery to help you just take your interpretations to the next level. And in terms of color and tone, it's not, personally I prefer something with distinctive color contrasts, and as you can see, the colors of Paulina Tarot is kind of toned down. Everything's really together, it's really busy. So if you like that kind of thing, this deck is probably perfect for you. So, right, like I said, it's very, very busy. So it does have some bright colors, but in general I find it doesn't have that kind of really distinct contrast that I usually look for in the tarot deck that I would read. So I'll just lay down all the major arcana cards to show you. So that's Hangman, it's Death, Temperance, Devil. So the Paulina Tarot is based on a Rider-Waite deck, and so it does carry all those traditional meanings, and some cards have their own interpretations and variations. So it is based on a traditional deck, but it's not too traditional. It does challenge your perceptions and interpretations somewhat. Alright, so I'll just be showing you the separate suits. So this is the suit of Pentacles. So what I like about the suit of Pentacles is that you can see the Pentacles manifesting in different ways. So in this, the Two of Pentacles, you can see that it's being juggled, like most of the Two of Pentacles, across like many, many decks based on Rider-Waite. The Three of Pentacles, you can see they manifest as flowers. Four of Pentacles, they manifest as cushions. And in Five of Pentacles, they're just kind of adornments or pendants kind of thing. And then again, it's flowers, flowers, flowers. So that's pretty cool. Or just patterns on a dress. So that's what I like about the Suit of Pentacles. So, and this is the Ace of Wands. So the Suit of Wands. The wands, what's really cool about it is each wand is kind of like a little bit different from each other. But for the most part, I actually don't have a lot to say about the Suit of Wands. Otherwise, sometimes they kind of look like weapons. They almost look like spears. Really, it kind of changes depending on each card, but the essence of wand will be there. It's like, for example, in this card, it's a little bit different again. And in this card, they kind of look at arrows to represent that 4 emotion. So, yeah, so I guess this rings true for all suites, that the elements, like be it Pentacles or Wands, they all manifest in different ways depending on the meaning of each card you're looking at. So, and then there's the Ace of Swords, and don't have much to say about the Suit of Swords either, but I'll just be showing you these cards. And yeah, like I said, same thing. So they manifest in different ways, which is pretty cool. So after I lay down all the cards, I'll just be showing you a few cards that, some of my favorite cards, and also some of the reasons I don't like this deck, but that's just my opinion. So, alright, so that's the Suit of Cups. Sorry, I didn't make an announcement, but here we go. Okay, I'm just gonna try to keep this like that, so it's easier for me to put everything back afterwards. So just bear with my shuffling. Okay, so I will show you the court cards, a few court cards. So this is the Page of Cups. So like I said, there are many details to look at. And sometimes each card, I feel like there's like kind of a dark element in it. Not every card does that, has that, but I just feel like in this card you can kind of see that. Well, maybe it's just me. I kind of find this face in that stone is a little bit creepy, and it's a little bit creeping. It's creeping me out, to be honest. And I'll show you the Knight of Pentacles, and as you can see, like, Knight of Pentacles is prepared. You can see the pouches that he's prepared for his journey. He has a dragon pet that's kind of ready to go, cautious, all the meanings that the traditional Rider-Waite deck has. And this is actually one of my favorite court cards, the Queen of Wands. So, usually I have a hard time reading Queen of Wands because I'm an introvert, and Queen of Wands is a very social person. So you can really see that usually there's an animal next to the, actually there's an animal in all the cards pretty much. But for Queen of Wands, it's represented by a cat. As you know, cats are very independent. They're kind of mysterious. They go their own way. They're uninhibited, like a free spirit almost. So that's kind of like the Queen of Wands in this, in this particular deck. And that's the King of Swords. Sorry, I'll just hold a bit closer so you can see. So for me, King of Swords is always the supreme strategist, really rational, very good at strategizing, organizing, and executing his plans. So it does have that air of confidence about him. So one thing I would say is, like, most of the cards in the Paulina Tarot, pretty much all the figures that you see, they all have a strong, they're really expressive and really have their own personalities. And that is one thing I want to talk about, is because, say for example, the Three of Swords. So as we all know, the traditional Rider-Waite deck, the Three of Swords is a heart being pierced through by 3 swords, as you can see. That is reinterpreted right here, so it's kind of like a little hat that she's wearing. And this is one thing personally I don't like. It's because the characters are so expressive in their emotions, and everything's kind of written on their face. So sometimes the interpretations will only go one way, just because obviously this card, as soon as you see it, it's a sad card. But for me, sometimes I like to read Three of Swords as logic, rationality, and emotions, heart, kind of like a balance between the two, right? So that's why they're kind of, conjoined that way. But in this card, I can't really read that into this. I can't really read that into this card, just because there's obviously a strong sense of loss in this, and sometimes that's true for many other cards. It's just too expressive for me. It's too dictative in their expressiveness that I find it could be very limiting. But if you're someone who's more personality oriented, that you like this kind of expressiveness, this kind of emotional expression on the characters' faces, then this deck is probably really good for you. Okay. So 2 more things I want to talk about. I just want to show you 2 of my favorite cards. So 8 of Pentacles. I've always liked this card just because it's about being a student, it's about perfecting your craft, it's about being humble, it's about learning, right? And I'm always a student, even though I graduated university. I like to learn more things, you know, challenge myself to learn more things, open up and broaden my perspective kind of thing. So this really resonates with who I am. And I kind of just like that, the way it's arranged, you know, these different colored pentacles and how she's kind of painting on it, and she's kind of like half dancing, and you know, she's kind of like I'm learning. Like she's really enjoying it. So I feel like that speaks to me on a very personal level. So I really like that card. And the next card is the Hierophant. I usually hate this card. Like honestly, I hated the Hierophant in traditional Rider-Waite just because it has too much of a religious tone. So I found that really limiting. But in this card, to me, the Hierophant is always the teacher card. You know, and this kind of just encapsulates that perfectly. Right? It's kind of this tree, and trees connected to the earth, and how he's sharing his knowledge, his past experiences, his wisdom to this group of kids and different kind of creatures that are surrounding, that are, you know, near him. So this is one of my favorite cards. Alright, just to keep this really concise, I'm going to show you 2 different cards that are kind of slightly different from the traditional Rider-Waite. This is the Judgment card. So, one thing I really like about this deck is it doesn't have that strong religious element in it. As we all know, I use that phrase a lot. In the traditional Rider-Waite, it's about it's this angel kind of calling and the dead kind of rising and then accepting judgment kind of thing. So in this card, it's kind of about patient, like active waiting, like waiting to be reborn, waiting for the next step, waiting for that full growth, waiting for the completion of the metamorphosis, and then just kind of about to go on to the next step, about to embrace this new stage of life kind of thing. So I really like this idea of growth in this card. So that's why, you know, that's one of the reinterpretations. Another one is the Four of Swords. To be honest, this card, I don't really know what to make of it, and it really depends on what shows up. Because in the traditional Rider-Waite, it's this figure kind of lying down. I think I pulled the Four of Swords in Dreaming Way Tarot review too. In this one, it's kind of like you don't really know if she's resting or what the heck is she doing. Like I said, there's just so many things going on. Like there's like 2 swords pointing down and 2 swords pointing up, and then maybe she's deciding what action to take. And there's this bird kind of about to take flight, you know, after a full rest or something. It really depends what shows up next to it. So this is one of the interesting card that I find in Paulina Tarot, sorry. So yeah, just for your consideration. It does challenge you to think outside of the box a little bit. And yeah, so I think that was my review. Kind of powered through it, which is mostly because I'm scared I'm gonna interrupt it. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed that review, and I don't think I have anything else to say. Personally, it's not my go-to deck when I do readings, just because there's probably said this before. I like it when the colors are really distinct, that I can just tell, you know, like which cards are which. So I'll just be like laying down random cards as I babble on. And yeah, I don't think I have anything else to add. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me. But otherwise, I think I'll just end it here. Again, hope you enjoyed this. And I will be posting more reviews soon, so stay tuned for that. See ya!